Y'all, we at it again. This is episode 3 of I Am, but this is part 2 of the biking series. So boom, I am going to continue with some of my favorite trails and paths in New York City, but also I'm going to take some time to answer some questions from my Instagram about biking in New York. Stay tuned, let's get it. So this is the trail that leads to High Bridge. High Bridge leads to the South Bronx, and it's super soothing over here. It's amazing. People use this trail to walk and bike as well. I always find dope artwork in New York. No king, la 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 la. Idiots, there will be a king. Stick with me, and you'll never go hungry again. So these are ghost bikes, and this organization usually puts them up to honor the memory of cyclists killed in biking accidents. I think it's a great way to pay honor to their memory. So we got a few questions. I asked on my Instagram, do you have any questions about biking in New York? So Lady Lake 508 asked, where is safe? Well, define safe. You're always taking some type of risk, I guess, riding a bike, especially without a helmet. But I consider the safest rides on dedicated bike trails that are not on streets whatsoever. An example of this would be the West Side Highway. But even to an extent, there's some motorized bicycles. We don't like them. There's sometimes the motorized bikes can be difficult or like a threat to actual bicyclists or even runners. So I would say those would be the safest. Long Hair Don't Care asks, are you scared that you might get hit by a car? When I first started riding, I'm going to be completely honest, I was out here riding dirty. I was riding without a helmet. I then started talking to my father about it, and I was watching some TV show where they're talking about traumatic brain injuries, and I was scared straight, and I bought a helmet. When I first started riding, I was a little more afraid, a little more cautious. I've fallen before, like that's a thing, you're gonna fall off of the bike, it's okay. But usually when I first started riding, I was riding with my boy Tech, you saw in a previous episode, and he's just so very fearless. So it gave me like the confidence or whatever. As far as getting hit by a car, you just have, like, if you've even ever driven a car in New York, you know people don't use turn signals. People are like super rude. So you just have to be a defensive bike driver, if that makes sense. Like you have to watch the cars, and even when you're weaving through cars a little bit, you have to be careful. Yeah. So I used to be scared, but I'm not scared anymore. Najashi asked for tips for BK bridge cycling. So, I think I've in total rode over 5 bridges. RFK, New York native will call it a Triborough Bridge, the bridge to Randall's Island, Williamsburg Bridge, Brooklyn Bridge, and of course the bridge, GW Bridge to Fort Lee. I'm assuming that you're going to be talking about the 2 bridges, the 2 Brooklyn bridges, Williamsburg Bridge and Brooklyn Bridge, right? So to me, Williamsburg Bridge is the most difficult bridge between those 2. It just has a very high incline. I would say as far as the incline, be aware of, like, you have to play with your bike and figure out like what gear and what speed is the best combination to go downhill versus uphill versus like different terrains and like inclines and stuff like that. So I would say play with the gears. What I usually do is I decrease my gears, but I increase the speed. Yes. Yes, I decrease my gears, but I increase the speed. I'm like trying to figure out how I ride the bridge. Williamsburg is definitely more difficult than Brooklyn Bridge. Brooklyn Bridge, there's an incline, but it's not as crazy in Williamsburg. But the difficulty of riding the Brooklyn Bridge is that it's a touristy spot. Even during quarantine, it's like people like, oh, I'm taking a picture, and they're in the way. And you constantly, like, once you get to the plateau of the bridge, you're constantly saying, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. And even me saying that, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. I literally say it like that. People are still, like, this close to getting hit. And, like, we both gonna be in trouble. But you're gonna be in more trouble than me because I'm on a bike. You know what I'm saying? So, those are my tips. I hope that was what you're even asking for. HRH Andrew James asks, why you so fine? In the words of Juvenile, she get it from her mama. That's all I can say. You understand? You understand? Nah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Illest one out here had quite a few questions, which I appreciate. It's actually my sister. Shout out to Kay. Do people honk their horn if you're going too slow? Yes, they do. It's New York City traffic. They don't care. You could try your best to stay in the bike lane, but they still be on you. So you got to have a lot of patience. And whether you ride day or night, anything, you have to be alert. The other thing to be alert of is like when people open the car doors, you gotta swerve because going over that joint will be wild. Her next question, if you bike in the street at night, how do you direct turn signals? I do it the same way I would do it during the day, which is I put my hand out this way if I'm turning right, and I keep looking back. I keep looking back. And I might even sort of stand up on my bike and do this so the drivers can recognize, and I'll look back before I go over. Same thing. I just put my hand up and I do this. It's like a universal bike thing. And you're also supposed to wear bright clothes, but I really don't. Illest one out here also asked, do you bike in the street? Yes, I do. I try to stay in the bike lane. Some streets don't have bike lanes. And also, a lot of cars park and or stop in the bike lane. And they look at you wild like, what you doing here? Well, what you doing here? Because it's a bike lane. Yeah, so I bike in the street. Long story short. Sorry, Chelsea rant. Last question from Illest one out here. Where do you keep your bike? Yes, I live in New York. I live in an apartment. My setup of my room, long story short, I have a lofted bed. Under the lofted bed is my recording setup. In front of the lofted bed is my extensive shoe collection. And in front of the shoe collection is my bike. It's not really in the way. I don't really notice the space gone because I really only went over there to get shoes. And I'm on my fashion or whatever. But it's cool. It's cool in front of there. Like, I thought about getting the rack for the wall, but I didn't want to tear up my walls. I'm trying to get my deposit or whatever. So, yeah, that's why I keep my bike in my room. I really, really appreciate y'all tuning into episode 3. We're really pushing it. Thank you so much. If you have anything that you want to know about me or any ideas for episodes, I'm super open. Not saying I'm going to do them all, but let me know what you're thinking. What you think so far? All right, y'all. Make it a good one.